Hello and welcome back to the second part of my series about creating a webcomic page from scratch with stable diffusion and a little bit of GIMP on the side. So let's get started. First, we want to create a raw image that displays the father and the mother of the main character in a situation that tells the viewer that the mother is quite happy with her renewed relationship with her ex-husband. So I'm gonna put together a complex scene with the father and mother walking through like an evening sky or a day sky. I haven't decided on that yet, and I will let the RNG dictate what it's gonna be. And yeah, let's see what we can get out of it. Just the thing I'm going to do here is I will not create the scene entirely with one step, but I will actually just create the man first, along with the background, and then in Paint the mother, just so we have a little bit more freedom of composition. So we start with the background and the man. And these are the prompts I'm going to use here. From site, obviously. And then these prompts for describing the father. Those aren't a lot, I understand, but they are totally sufficient to get this character in a seemingly very consistent manner. So, yeah. Settings are, as you can see here, nothing special. Basically the same settings as I mentioned in my in-painting video. And we're going to use 1024 by 1024 because we want a wider scene. And I assume that we're going to outpaint a little bit to the side as well, so that we have a little bit more leeway in placing the image on the right spot when it's about to create the actual manga page. So I'm gonna hit generate on a few generations, maybe like 32, and see if you can get something usable out of it. And actually, I didn't have to wait long to get a usable picture as a base image. I actually skipped some of the remaining images because I was so satisfied with this picture that I wanted to start right away in editing it. I'm talking about this picture because we don't pay attention to the details yet. It's just about composition at this stage. The background is pretty simple. We have like this handrail or whatever that is. And we have like an evening sky. He's a bit grumpy looking, leaning forward, and he has a tilted arm in a fashion that allows me to place the mother next to him and have her put her arm underneath his in like an arm holding posture. So this is great. We are going to use this and we are going to extend the picture a little bit to the side so that we get a little bit more room for the mother to be placed into the image as well. And yeah, the next step will basically be in GIMP. So before I close Forge UI, I'm going to create the mother too. So let's go back to text to image. And as you can see, I already prepared the tags for it. Which are these? Again, usual pony tags, plus the tags for the mother. I wanted her to have a casual dress and not her usual office lady suit. And also, she's going to be created from the side in a walking fashion. And the rest is basically the standard prompts for this character. This time, we're not going to use 1024 by 1024, but we're going to use a vertical image because we want this character to be created without any background at all, which is why I left out any background information. And why are we going to do this? Because we are using layer diffusion. I advertised layer diffusion a little bit in my first video, and it's going to be very handy here because it makes composition of this image very easy. So we're gonna enable layer diffusion, leave everything at standard settings. Standard settings are already perfect for what we want to do. And we're gonna hit generate and create a few images and see if we can get something usable out of it. And we did. So I'm gonna show you the image, but this time I will not just load it into image to image, but I will actually generate it again using the seed of the image I've found, just so you can see how I can actually extract a transparent background from the created image, because it's not self-explanatory how to get the transparent image in layer diffusion. So let's check this out. Takes a few moments. And we are going to get a total of 2 pictures, one having the usual transparency pattern in the background, and one seemingly having a white background. So let's look at this. This is the image that I found that I thought matches her character pretty well. And to get the actual transparent image, you don't use this image, but you actually select the second image created, this one, which doesn't have the transparency pattern in the background, and click on this little button here to basically download this picture, because it's stored in a temporary folder. It's not in a regular output folder. It's a little bit of a quirk of layer diffusion that you need to know when using this script. So hit this button and you're gonna get this image with transparent background into your usual download folder. So yeah, one word to this picture. Why did I select this picture? Mainly because it represents the character perfectly, because she's like a very elegant, sporty, fashionable, and this dress looks very casual, and I really like that casual dress appearance on her character. So I was immediately in love with this picture, and yeah, this was my go-to. I actually had a few pictures with like summer dresses, stuff that is really cute and stuff. But this sporty dress, I think, matches her character much more than like evening dresses or summer dresses. So this one is great. So yeah, let's go to the part at which we are actually editing our result images in our GIMP software. So let's go there. So for this part, I am not going to show you how I actually edit those pictures, simply because it's a very simple process. I will just show you the steps I took and the images that resulted from it, because everyone who used paint in his childhood would be able to replicate this. I don't have to show you the GIMP tools used for this because it's very simple. So first step, I wanted to outpaint this image to the right side. So basically, I just copied the left side of this image, copied it to the right side, and then I just blurred over these clouds to extend them to the right side and to fix the seam from copying it over. You don't actually have to pay lots of attention here. It looks very rough, very sketchy, and we don't care because we're gonna inpaint it anyway. So yeah, let's not waste time with this. And also, just an explanation why I'm not using the actual inpaint, the actually outpaint tool of Stable Diffusion, simply because I usually get better results just manually doing it in GIMP, and it saves so much more time to do it this way, because outpainting is such a horribly slow process, and yeah, this is much faster and gets much more satisfying results, especially in this case. So yeah, second step, extending the image. Third step, we're going to load in the transparent image of the mother that we created, and we're gonna post them together. So I put her a little bit lower than the father simply because they have a little bit of difference in body height. And yeah, took me a few moments to get the scaling right because this image is much larger in dimensions than this image, so took a bit of rescaling to get the proportions right. And I think it looks pretty good. So next step, I added, so her right arm is actually underneath his arm, and she's like in an embracing fashion. She has her hand a little bit tilted inwards, so it looks like she's actually holding his arm. And we don't need to put more attention to detail here because, again, we're gonna inpaint it, and let's see how far we can get. If at a later point we realize that the inpainting process does not understand what is going on here, then we will go back to this image and add a little bit more detail. But I'm pretty positive that Stable Diffusion and the model should be able to understand what's going on here. So last thing I did is I simply rotated the seat a little bit, as you can see, just so that the head of the father is actually out of frame and that you only see like his chin, and that's it. And it also adds a little bit of a dynamic effect to have a slightly rotated angle of the camera. It looks more interesting that way. So this is basically the final image that we are going to use for further inpainting. And as such, see you in part 3. Bye.